Ray, Michael gets matched up with another huge challenge again this weekend. What's it been like for you watching him pitch as he goes up against name arm after name arm and matches them out, does him? He beat both Sonny Gray and Alex Meyer. What's that say to you?
Well, as a coach, when you send guys out to play, whatever sport it may be, all you can hope for is that they can be who they are and give you the best they got and not get caught up in other things that they can't control. And that's who Michael Roth is all about. And it hasn't just been this year. I mean, I know that, from the World Series on, he became a little bit more of a big name, but if you remember, we put him in some difficult situations along the way. He was sort of the John Taylor of last year's team. Although we had John and Mata, Roth was in there getting big outs in order to get the price. And we don't really put ourselves against other people. We try to coach our guys to be who they are and stay within themselves and play like they're capable of playing. And if it's good enough, great. And if it's not, there's nothing else you can do. And we don't spend a whole lot of time on scouting reports within our team. We do it within our coaching staff, and we try to prepare and help our guys execute based on the reports. But we try not to get them engrossed in that too much. Coach Myers will have a session with our pitchers, but it's more about what you do and try to do it to the best of your ability, and that's enough. You can't try to do too much at one time, and that's what Roth is really good about. He's going to do what he can do, and good, bad, or indifferent, I'll be content with it because I know who he is and I know what I'm going to get. It's going to be his best effort on that particular day. He's not pitching against Barnes. He's not pitching against an offense that can throw up crooked numbers in a hurry. He's just going to try to pitch like he's capable, and we hope it's good enough.
To follow, what do you know about Barnes and what's your impression of him?
Well, you can start with being a first rounder. It's not easy to be in the first round. It takes a very special person to be drafted that way, but big, strong guy with multiple pitches, hard thrower, Cape Cod performer, all the stuff that a first round possesses. And you have to be very good on that particular day or those guys will stuff you a little bit. So we're just hoping that we have a good day tomorrow.
Ray, the UConn guys were in here talking about how, early in the season they get rain and snow and 40-degree temps and stuff. Given that kind of disadvantage, in baseball, what they're doing up there must be, it must be even more impressive to somebody, to you guys, that they've been able to advance down here to the region.
Well, I think there definitely are challenges in baseball because of the climate that you play in and our schedule. When you start playing in February, there's difficult challenges, and there's a few teams in the Midwest and the Northeast that are pretty good, but have been for a long time tradition. Coach Baylock, now Coach Penders, and they've played the game the right way, and they're very good. But they've won for quite a while, especially at UConn. They've been a very, very good program, and it seems this year they have an enormous amount of talent and a lot of success. They were expected really to be where they are right now. I mean, it's not one of those teams that you say, hey, they got hot at the right time and now they're playing in the Super Regional. They were a team from day one that was forecasted, prognosticated to be a team playing at the end, and that's where they are. They're very good. We know that, and we know that we're going to have to play very well to win.
Ray does a setup with Colby and then Forrest after Roth.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who we're going to pitch in Game 2. Coach Myers might be certain right now, but we haven't made a 100% decision who's going to pitch Game 2.
Coach, obviously you have a lot of experience playing this time of year after the draft. It's kind of new for UConn. But I'm wondering, in your experience, what is the effect of players having the draft behind them and then going out and playing? Is there a clearing of the head, so to speak?
I think so. I mean, it happened, as you know, these guys at UConn were drafted on Monday night, and they were playing when they got picked. I think I read a blurb somewhere that they were notified during the game that they'd been drafted. It was a very, very difficult situation to be in. Of course, they had a great game that particular night, but you have a couple of days to let it settle in a little bit, and our guys and their guys kind of know where they are. I think they feel good about it, regardless of where you got drafted. It's still a dream if you're a baseball player to someday be drafted, and I think we've had time to settle in, and now it's about going out and playing your best, and excited to be playing this time of year.
Coach, 2 wins away from Omaha, position UConn is not used to, position you've been in quite often. I know you want to give them tips, but just what is it like to experience that, knowing that you're so close and you've never been there before? Do you remember the first time you were in that position, what it was like for you?
I was there a few times, a couple of times, especially back in the early part of in 2000 and 2001, 2002, and it was tough. It was really difficult for me, especially, I remember 2002 in particular, when we had been denied in 2000, been denied in 2001, and we were sitting there in 2002 in the same exact position, Sunday morning at Sarge Fry Field. I don't like to think about it right now. I called Coach Burtman that morning at LSU, and I said, Coach, I need help. I was a wreck. I was a complete wreck. And it was okay because I didn't have to play. But I didn't want to take that to my team that morning. And he, I guess he gave me therapy on the phone for a while, and I got to a point I could get in front of my team. I was just afraid that my emotions would get in their way that day. And of course, time passed and we had some success, and it's a little easier to handle and understand. I don't get ahead of myself. I never have, and I didn't then. It was just the fact that I didn't have enough experience maybe to handle it, and the experience I had was not positive because we'd been denied the 2 previous years. So, we just going to try to win an inning tomorrow at the beginning and go from there. And our guys, fortunately, have played a little bit. You may think it's coach speak, but it's really not. Connecticut is very, very good. Tremendous players, tremendous talent, well coached. You're going to have to play your best, and you really have to stay focused on that from inning to inning, pitch to pitch, and hope that it works out. But you start thinking, down the road, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble, and I don't foresee our guys being that way. We know we got a pretty good team, but we're not good enough to just show up and throw our gloves out and win. We can't do that. We're just, from an ability standpoint, there are a lot of teams probably more talented than we are. So that's what it's all about. So you just try to play, and you hope for the best.
Coach, Connecticut's a very good base stealing team. Will you talk a little bit about that? Kind of talk where Brady is, and do you think about catching Barry more since he's had a little bit better success throwing runners out?
Well, that is a decision that'll have to be made right now according to how healthy we think Brady is, and I know he's going to want to be back there possibly. And then Barry's had a little bit more rest throughout the years, got a little better throwing arm right now, so that is a concern. As I said earlier, they'll throw a crooked number up in a hurry, and part of it is stealing bases, and they're surrounded by doubles and extra base hits. So, that's part of it. That's, with our scouting report and Roth on the mound, he's left-handed. He does a pretty good job of holding runners. You got to try to neutralize what they do well, and they can run.
When you saw the game Monday night with what happened with UConn and Clemson, was there a part of you at all, or even going through the week, that thought, as interesting as it would have been to have Clemson here, that this is about baseball and a trip to Omaha, not necessarily the emotion or the extracurricular that would have been for the players or for you?
Honestly, I didn't get involved in it.
You would have been answering some different questions today, I think.
I was watching another game on TV, and my wife was following the Clemson game, and I laughed at her a little bit that she was following it, and I gave her a hard time, and I knew that whatever happened, it was going to be about baseball. That's it. It was going to be about baseball. I realized that had Clemson been here, there would have been a lot of other stuff going on, but irregardless, it was going to be about baseball, and it's great to be playing this time of year. I know UConn, to follow up what Adrian said, tough road, losing the first game and going through there and winning twice. That tells you how good they are. If you didn't know, that's a strong enough statement right there. Arguably, Clemson was the best team in the country in the last 3 or 4 weeks, based on how they played, the run output, and the games they had won. So for Connecticut to do what they did, it is very, very impressive.
Ray, let's fast forward from those dark days of 2000, 2001. What's your state of mind now as you get ready to play your first Super Regional here in the new stadium? Are you going to have to maybe reel in your emotions a little bit at the beginning?
I don't think so. I guess, not to rehash it, but we had a good program. I got here in the summer of '96, '97, my first team. Tradition was great here. History was great. Coach Raines, Coach Richardson. I just wanted to be a part of a continuation of great baseball at the University of South Carolina. I didn't have any other expectations. Those guys had gone to the World Series, both of them. I wanted to be a part of a group that went, and there were some, I guess they shouldn't have been dark days, but there were some days that were tough to get over the hump. But we got over the hump. They say baseball will even out. It did. It did. We had our run. Had a couple of close calls. We didn't make it, but we had our run. It did kind of even out. And then, we were shut out a few years, and our fans and our residents and my neighbors thought you're supposed to go every year, and I had to educate them that, no, you don't. It's not really on the schedule. You have to. And thank goodness we went back last year. So there's a great deal of comfort and realization that took place. That it is what it is. You play. It is a game of percentages. You do the very best you can, and you try to enjoy the experience. And I've had a better time, honestly, in the last few years. Not because we won more, we won a national championship. I just was able to deal with it a lot better. There was a time early on that I thought it was me. That, hey, 50-6 in the regular season, you don't go to the College World Series. Then you go 3-2 loss. Then you do it again the next year, 3-2 again. And then you're looking at a deciding game in 2002, one game apiece, and you're losing 4-1. Well, come on. Somebody's got to take the responsibility. There was nowhere to look but it's yourself, and that's what I did. It was tough. But thank God baseball is a game of percentages, and it played out. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here. I mean, really, that's just, thank God it all worked out.
I know he looked last weekend like he wasn't quite there, but with Adam, what kind of week has he had in practice, and how will you look at using him this week?
He looks really good. He finally looked comfortable again. I like where he is. The only negative part is he just hasn't had enough reps. UConn's probably going to show us some lefties more than likely, so that increases his opportunities. I'd like to cut him loose, but it's a little bit more difficult than just doing that right now because there's a lack of time that he's had. So, but the good news is he's available and you could see him.
Anything else for Coach Tanner?